The problem is not the presence of darkness, the problem is the absence of light. And we're watching darkness pervade this land spiritually and morally, even right here in Charlotte, North Carolina, in our own backyard. Last week, the CMS, Charlotte Mecklenburg School Board, actually passed a policy that's going to be implemented this fall that talks about the radical transgender bathroom policies, locker rooms, and classrooms. It's so pervasive, they even introduced something we've never even heard before, the gender dadgum unicorn. A gender unicorn. Check this out.
Just like Barney, like Barney that my brother grew up watching.
We're gonna talk about this gender unicorn here in just a minute, but read some of the points.
But listen to what the gender unicorn is supposed to teach their students. Parental involvement is dependent on students' permission. So if a student doesn't want he goes to school and doesn't want his mom or dad to know that when he's going to school he's calling himself a girl, if he's a boy, then the school doesn't have to let the parent in on that. Students can choose the bathrooms and changing facilities. We know that. CMS will remove some gender-based activities. Now listen to this one. Students can choose their gender-based activities, and this includes choosing which gender they participate with during overnight field trips. Man,
this is crazy.
Hey, your dad and mom of a young girl going to a public school, just buckle up for what young boys are going to do with that. And then finally, students will not be referred to as boys and girls in classrooms, but scholars and students, and the gender dadgum unicorn is the one that's going to be teaching
They're
this
going
stuff.
to utilize this gender unicorn. We're going to look at it here in just a minute, but what I want to say is we are in a Romans 1 moment. In Romans 1, there's a pattern. Deny truth, darkened heart, displace God. In other words, God's no longer on the throne. You're on the throne. You say whatever you want. The next two things, degrading passions and a depraved mind. We are at a depraved mind moment. Check out the gender unicorn. Here we have, this is what they're going to teach the students, okay? We have this Barney looking thing, and then Jason noticed this is the gender distinction here. It's right over the private part with the two hearts. You can be one of two type of people. Gender identity, gender expression, sex assigned at birth, sexually attracted to men, women, or other, romantically, emotionally attracted to women, men, or other. This is absolute craziness, and I found a verse. I said, God, what are you speaking? And of course, Romans chapter 1, and right in the middle of it all, it says this, in verse 21, 22, and 23, for though they knew God, they did not honor him or give thanks, but they became futile in their speculations, or their ideas, and their foolish heart was darkened. Professing to be wise, they became fools. These teachers, school boards, supposed to be wise. They've become fools, and listen to what it says, and they exchanged the glory of the incorruptible God for an image in the form of corruptible man and of birds and four-footed animals and crawling creatures. We are created in God's image, male and female. We have now traded that image for a four-footed creature who's actually standing on 2 feet, the gender unicorn. We're watching it right before our eyes.
So what do we do? David and I, the first thing that we did this morning was we reached out to the largest church actually one of the largest churches in the nation, fastest growing churches in the nation, and said, Pastor, what are you going to communicate to your church there and your people in there? Because you got students who are going to be going and hearing this junk. And it's time for spiritual leaders. Yeah. It's time for men and women who know Jesus to actually stand up and be shepherds. Okay, so we reach out to all people with compassion because we love people. But we got to stand against mess like this. We got to stand against it with courage.
That's right.
We've got to resist these things. And so, hey, no matter what people think, we've got to do something about this and actually enter into this conversation.
If we don't lovingly engage as Christians and get into the conversation, then the narrative will be hijacked by crazy Christian people, or at least professing Christians, that are just going to bully people and all this other stuff. We have got to engage. Stand up, get on your social media, speak out to the school board. If you live in Charlotte, get involved and let the school board hear your voice.